Going on, and welcome back to the channel. Well, as you can see from that intro, work has finally begun on a dually. I got it over here in the driveway. I got the rear diff all pulled out, and I have it sitting here on my jack stands. I had started cleaning it up. I mean, you guys saw me do the descaling and stuff on the frame. That's just about ready to go. I got just a little bit left to do. Just some small areas, and then this bottom side all underneath right here. So I'm going to get that done. I'm going to hit it with the rust neutralizer or the rust converter, and then we'll be good to go and ready for paint on that. So I got the axles pulled, I got the brakes all pulled, pretty much stripped except for like the the rotors, the hubs, whatever you want to call them. And I was going to wait and start showing you guys how to start pulling out this center section. So I'm glad I was doing this. I started taking my air hammer, sitting right over there, and taking the real heavy scale off. You can see how this has real heavy scale on it. And I just didn't want that in the paint. I just, you know, this is very severely rusted. You can see it all down in right through here. And I was over on this side, and you can see how much this housing has rusted. See how thin that is right through there? And I actually busted through the housing right here. So guess what? This housing's junk. I guess I probably could, if I wanted to, weld that shut. But if I look at all the scale on this housing, we're gonna see what is actually frozen up to. We're gonna go ahead and tear it apart. But anyway, if I look at all the scale on this housing and the torque that, you know, is delivered to these rear axles, not so much the axle tubes, it's just the center section itself. This is a very thick casted piece, and I look at it, and the more and more I look at it, I was kind of beside myself on what I wanted to do. Before I busted through on the other side over there, I was actually thinking about a new housing to begin with. I'm not gonna mess around, do anything. I'm just gonna try and find the whole thing, maybe at a junkyard. I do still have all my Yukon parts, so that's not an issue. I'm just gonna have to find one for a dually. They do have, Chevrolet runs the same thing, so I could get one for a Chevy, but the mounting brackets and everything else are different. So we're just gonna go ahead and try and find one for an 03. It's an AAM, 11.5-inch rear differential. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at thus far. A little disheartening, but you know, it is what it is. When you buy something that's been sitting for that many years, you never know what you're gonna run into. And it also went through my head too, okay, do I want to just park the truck out? So, but I really don't think so. I'm gonna run into this with pretty much anything I buy here in Ohio. Well, not necessarily this severe, but with the rust that's on the cab, it's not too terribly bad. It's just the rocker panels. It's not a show truck, it's a work truck. So I don't want to let possibly a $500 rear end. Hopefully I can find one for $500. A $500 rear end kind of discouraged me from just parting the truck out. The truck is, you know, it's in okay shape. It'll be a great work truck, so that's what it'll continue to be. Right now, let's get set up and get that rear end tore apart. So to pull that carrier out, that center section, this is a full float rear axle, full floating rear axle. So you need to take all the bolts out from outside the cap and pull the axles out of both sides, which I have done. And then these are your bearing caps on both sides. These are your locking pins for the backlash adjusters on the outsides. What these do, these hold that little spanner nut, basically is what it amounts to, is what it is. That holds that tight up against that bearing to keep the proper backlash in your ring and pinion gear. And this is everything's kind of really messed up. So And when you take these caps off, you can see I punched that one. The driver's side has 4 punches in it, and the passenger side has 2 punches in it. And then you also want to make sure that they are oriented the same way all the time, this being the top. I did take a picture of this whole thing, and I put a D on this side and a P on this side, showing the punches on both sides also. So right now, let's go ahead and blow this thing apart. Like I said, when you remove these caps, you want to make sure and orient them the right way and the right side. This is the passenger and this is the top. And then I have this one marked the driver, and then that's the top. These right here, these are these spanner nuts right here. This is what I was talking about, that will move this carrier from side to side. You have them on both sides, and you'll spin these an opposite way to move this carrier in for more backlash, or move it this way for less backlash. Right now I'm just going to take all the backlash off of them so I can take the carrier out. They do make a wrench for this, but a punch works just as good. Alright, with that center carrier out of the way, I got a flashlight down here, and you can see right there is where I showed you the initial break, and then right through here you can see there's another crack right there, and then right up and through here it looks like that housing is cracked all up and through here. So that's probably due to me hammering on it, but like I said, this may be able to be fixed, but just for peace of mind, I don't want to have to deal with I don't want to have to deal with it with it's in the truck of any other problems happening. So the way it sounds, it is the pinion bearings is bad, so I'm going to flip it over and get the pinion taken out and check out the bearings on the pinion. Alright, I can't even get the damn thing apart. The pinion, the outer bearing that is most closest to my yoke, it looks like that's the bearing that failed. You can see there might be a couple rollers missing. Actually, no, that one's, well, yeah, there is. That one's turned sideways. And then the cage that's on there that holds those apart, that's my pinion depth tool right there. I was going to check the pinion depth on the, make sure that was in factory spec, but I've kind of felt that was worthless. Anyway, this is the cage that's on the rollers, that's on the inner race. And then the outer race sits on there like that. That cage is completely blown apart. Here's that. And you can see how chewed up that is. There's some pieces of the inner race that has come out. You can see how those keeps those that cage keeps those rollers apart. Well, that inner race is fused to the pinion shaft. You can see how much I've beat on that. I've heated it up just a little bit. Now, all I have is just a little MAP gas torch, and don't really have a torch. There's a better angle right there, the hole that's rusted in the housing. So, pretty much at this point in time, I'm not even going to waste my time and finish tearing it apart. I went in the house, grabbed an adult beverage, got me some Cider Boys Pineapple Hula. And pretty much said to hell with it for the day. So, I'm gonna have to start doing some searching around, see if I can't find a 11.5 inch and put in here. Right right now the dually build's on hold until I find a rear diff. One thing I am going to do while I have it this far, I'll go ahead and get the frame all taken care of and get it ready. So when I do get a new rear diff, all I have to do is just bring it out here and put it in a truck. Looking at the spring stack here, I'm gonna go ahead and take these two spacers out and take this spacer out for right now. That's gonna give me probably about 1.5 inches or so, and then I might remove one of these helper springs. So that's gonna give me just about 2 inches. That's gonna lower it just about 2 inches. So I'm hoping that's gonna set pretty good. I'm not too worried about it because it is sitting on airbags as far as the rear. The bags are probably gonna get replaced. They're not in the best of shape. Everything's just so rusted and crusted and shitty. So we're just gonna have to get things taken care of. Come this way. Get things taken care of to get everything put back together. Anybody that's kind of local to me, if you know of any 11.5s that is for sale, hit me up in the comment section, let me know. This tool right here, this is from Proform. I will put a link in the description for these. These are available from Amazon. And I also do have a magnetic base up there in the cabinet too for checking the backlash. This gauge right here will work for either, whether it's checking your backlash or checking for pinion depth. It'll attach here to the magnetic base, or you can see how it sits in that collet right there for checking your pinion depth. And then it also has, these are all gauges to where it zeroes it out, because each zero tube, or whatever you want to call them, comes with its own designated pin for checking depth. This one here is actually a little bit too small for the 11.5 inch, because this is actually supposed to bolt in place of your cap, and then this piece goes on here like so, and then you lay this on there and move it wherever you so desire. Well, this piece here, the bolts are so big it won't go in place. I would have to actually drill this out just a little bit bigger. So this set here is just a little bit too small. So what I did do, or what you can do, is just take this piece itself and lay it right down where your cap would mount. So anyway, I do appreciate you watching very, very much. Hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and tell your friends, because I got another giveaway coming pretty soon, and it's gonna be pretty cool. So anyway guys, appreciate it, subscribe, like, we'll talk to you guys later on. See you later, bye-bye.